Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are Team Optimum Player Performance, also known as OPP. My name is Alston D'Souza. I'm the IT manager of the team. He's Adrian Asalas, a soccer analyst, as well as the CEO of our company. Unfortunately, Professor Miguel Legume couldn't come today, but me and Adrian are going to carry forward the presentation. We also work with the board of advisors, which include the GW men's and women's soccer team coaches as well. Well, to start with, let me ask you a question. How many of you guys have seen the movie Moneyball? Raise your hands. Oh, that's a good number. Nice. So if you've seen the movie that starred Brad Pitt, the way he applied statistical analysis on baseball players, it led to the revolution of the baseball industry. It changed the way teams were evaluated. It changed the way how teams were looked at. And we are here to revolutionize the soccer industry. We are the Billy Bean of the soccer industry. And we are going to apply our statistical analysis tools on the soccer industry and revolutionize it. Well, to tell you what OPP is an analytical decision support software. It will be helpful in three things. Firstly, it will help to detect young talent. Secondly, it will help to find assets and will help in asset management. It will help to recruit new players. And thirdly, it will help in the SWOT analysis. That is the detection of strengths and weaknesses of player. So you might ask me, what's asset management? Well, asset management is also known as player management. So a soccer team is a valuable asset. And if you assume that there are 22 players in a soccer league, and each player is about $1 million, so the whole soccer team sums up to about $22 million, which is a big amount. And we don't want to be messing with it. So we need a statistical analytical tool to support the decision of the managers and the coaches so as to manage the team better. And that's what we are here to do. Well, the current practices in the soccer industry. This is the way GW men's soccer team evaluates its players, just by a sheet of paper. I mean, it's pretty subjective. And even professional soccer teams in the MLS, they evaluate their soccer players using data from video games. I mean, come on, how could you manage to do like such a thing with just video games and a sheet of paper? You need better, and we are here to provide something better. And we are here to provide the analytical decision tool for the soccer industry. Well, who's going to benefit from it? Obviously, the coaches. The coaches are going to train the players better. They can recruit new talent. FIFA agents can increase their profits as well as manage players' career. And lastly, but not the least, players can get market exposure. And as you can see, that's the Brazilian legend, young Pele, being signed at the age of 9. Well, he was pretty lucky, though, to be discovered at that time when no analytical tool was there. There are so many young Peles right there today who are not discovered. And we don't want that to happen. So our tool will help young players to be discovered and get market exposure. So to take an example of what we do, what we exactly do, we provide an OPP index for every soccer player. So you might ask me, what's an OPP index? So OPP index is basically like the GMAT for an MBA candidate. So every player will have an OPP index, and based on the OPP index, the player will be evaluated. So let's take an example of the Uruguayan striker, Edinson Cavani. His OPP index score is 92.8. He ranks among the top 6 among the strikers, and here are the key strengths highlighted, as well as his improvement. His estimated market value is about $28 million. Well, that's a huge amount. Talking about the technology and the product, well, ours is a cloud-based product. We are going to host our software on the cloud. The coaches will use the software to input the data of their players on the field while the player is practicing, and that data will be uploaded to the cloud. Then the coaches can use the data anywhere at any time to get insights about the team performance. That would help the team to perform better. Well, I would like to show you a demo of what we exactly do. Okay, as you can see, this is the database for our team Oceanside Strikers. We have the players lined up as forwards, midfielders, defenders, goalkeepers. So, well, if you click on a particular player, say David Mace, and you get his OPP rating as 87.3, and he's ranked number 3 among the strikers of his team. And below is the graph that shows his performance of speed. It shows that he's improving over time. This gives the coach an idea how well a player is performing. Well, if you want to compare him to his other teammates, here it goes. We get a beautiful graph of comparison of different players and their OPP index as well. So we know where a player stands and which player is better than the other. And I call on now Adrian to continue the presentation.
Thank you, Alston. I hope you're enjoying the presentation. So let's see. Performance player is highly and positively correlated with the player's value on the market. In this case, Zlatan, a high top striker in the European League. When he started his career, very young, his market value was 0 because he was not performing. Then he started getting bigger, stronger, more accurate, scoring goals. His market value started going up. It took him 10 years to reach a high peak of $92 million, where Barcelona bought him. 10 years, but only in 2 years, his market value dropped to $30 million. That's when Milan bought him. So the loss for Barcelona was $62 million. Our product, what it does, it helps teams like Barcelona track the performance of the player so they don't lose market value, and also helps small teams in order to identify the new players, the players that are coming, identify their strength, and acquire them in a cheap price, and then sell them at a high price and make profit. Our competitive reach, very important, where we are. Let me explain you 2 big attributes that nobody is doing yet together. In the horizontal axis, there's performance prediction. In the vertical axis, there's player management attribute. So all our competition only is trying to do some kind of performance prediction on game analysis. What do we mean on game analysis? They record a game, and they take all the data, and that's what you see in the half of the game on ESPN when they say the team scored, this is the number of free kicks. That's what they do, but they really cannot predict anything about that. Our difference, we go to the coaches. In practice, we give tools to the coaches, and they take attributes from each of the player, and with that, we get very high insight of each player's strengths and weaknesses, so we can predict better. Also, we have thought about exit strategy. Every business has to have an exit strategy. If our business grows at some point, and in 5 years we want to sell it or we want to be acquired, we can sell it. And we have thought to sell it to direct competitors, sport brands, or other analytical companies. So why soccer? You ask why soccer. Soccer is the #1 sport play in the world. #1, 43% of the revenues on all the sports in the world come only from soccer. It's played around 210 countries. Very popular sport. Everyone plays soccer, so we have a growth potential there. Also, the annual growth rate is 8% annually, more than the GDP of the United States. So a lot of potential here. So the size always matters, right? So we are focusing on North and South America. Especially, it's a market niche need there. Why? There's no technology there. Everybody is focusing on Europe, the Premier League. We are going to go to South America. Why? I'm from there. I'm from Uruguay. I live in Uruguay, Argentina, Peru, and now I'm here in the United States. I have personal contacts. So very easy for us to go to team and sell our products. To see the size mark of the potential, South America has 47 million of soccer players that play regularly, and almost 70,000 clubs. From that, of course, we are not going to get all of them, right? So we forecast very conservative. Our segment, we forecast a market size of 40,000 clubs that are willing to buy our product, that have the characteristics that they need. And also, we forecast 10 million young players that will be using our tools. In year 5, we are going to reach 16% of the clubs market and 1% of the total young players, which means with only 1%, I'm going to show you how profitable is this business. So how we are going to market our product? We're going to do a lot of face-to-face sales. We're going to go to the coaches. We're going to talk to them, give them free trial period. Once they try our product, they input data, they will see how good is our product. Once they get used to that, they will have to pay. So that's when we charge. Brand awareness. We are building brand awareness. We have a lean startup philosophy. So we are going to use tools that really don't spend money. Online social media, very cheap to do it, very easy to do it. Public relations, we're going to go to the media. We're going to go to TV and talk for free. You know, we're going to get media exposure. A lot of people are going to be interested in this product. Finally, we're going to sponsor teams, branding the jerseys, branding stadiums, going a lot of that kind of marketing. Pricing strategy is based on target segmentation. We are going to charge $99 per assessment per player if they want to have a report of how they are doing, like taking the GMAT, $99. We're going to charge $2,000 for university teams for a year subscription. And also, we're going to charge for professional teams $4,000.
Well, that's a very reasonable pricing strategy. We did a market analysis in Europe. Europeans are paying about thousands of euros just for a particular individual to do this software. Well, we are offering at a very reasonable price, and that's why we are, we are good. And if you feel that we are not making much profits out of it, the next slide will talk for itself. Adrian?
Yes. Financial projections, very important in any business. So in year 1 and 2, we are getting momentum. We are visiting clients. We are trying developing the product, refining the product. In year 5, we're going to target, we're going to reach $7 million in revenue and a net profit of $2.4 million. Year 5 with a net margin of 32.77%, which is above the software industry. ROI in year 5, if we put $1 today and you wait to year 5, you get 1,000 return on investment. So where we are now, we have done all our homework. We have done the market research, the feasibility analysis, product concept. Also, we have built the first prototype. Next week, we're going to file for a provisional patent, and we're going to incorporate the company. By January 2015, we're going to launch the full version of the product. Where the money comes from, hopefully with your help today, we get the $35,000. Also, we're going to put money on the business because we believe in this business. The timing is right. We're going to put money on it. Investors, we're going to invite investors to put $400,000 for a 20% stake in the company, value at $5 million. You can see the WACC there, 25%, and a growth rate of 3%. Very conservative. $5 million is value. The 20% will be $1 million, but we are only charging you $400,000. We are giving you a 60% discount, one-time deal. So, takeaways for you guys. Takeaways.
Well, the takeaways, it's a unique product. No one is doing it in the North and the South America. We are the first guys in the industry, soccer industry, to do that.
Also, we are in a growing industry. As I mentioned, 8% growth, 8% growth rate. Also unique in South America. Everybody plays soccer.
And it's a well-planned business, and we have an experienced and skilled team as well.
And finally, if you put $1 now, you're going to get a high return of investment. So I would like to quote, you read, the only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. We are a very hard worker team, and we're going to do whatever it takes to make these things a success. So thank you very much. With that, I would like to end the presentation and open it for questions.
Can your software and metrics be copied by a competitor?
So we're working with statistics. Very high level models are not easy to copy, and they're protected by copyrights and patents. So yes, you come up with anything you want, but our model will be very strong.
To add to that, I would say our model would be very robust, and we would host the software on a cloud. So I don't think anyone would get access to it. We would have a private cloud. So that's why we want to keep it private. Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah.
The inputs, they come from the coaches themselves. Am I correct? When in terms of the data that goes in on each player?
Yeah, they go to the field.
Yeah.
They have a tablet. They start inputting data, running a specific test that is our test. We say, for example, we want to measure kick. They kick in certain positions, more difficult, middle difficulty, etc. They input all that.
Oh, so you have some benchmarks to help them in their evaluation.
Yes.
Yes.
That goes with the software. Okay.
Exactly.
And can this be I know can this be applied, perhaps, the analytics, not just to soccer, which is clearly a nice market, but to other sports as well?
Well, this is a paradigm. It could be applied to baseball, it could be applied to basketball, but there are people in the basketball industry, and I just recently read an article in the New York Times saying that the other sports in US are sort of stagnated, whereas the growth of soccer is still going on because soccer is getting more mileage and people are knowing more about it. That's the reason why we chose soccer.
And no one in the data analytics industry is doing this for that industry right now?
Not in the US, not in the South America. They're doing it for probably for in Europe, for the English Premier League.
All right.
I would like to add, some are trying to do that, but they are mostly focused on the media industry. There are some companies that watch the game, record it, get the data from the game, and call to ESPN and sell that data. So you're going to see in a halftime they say all kind of numbers, but that's not prediction.
Subscription model, correct?
Subscription model.
You need to charge more.
Thank you very much. That's why we wanted to show you that we were very conservative and still it's a very good business. People are willing to pay thousands of dollars. If they are building statistics department, they pay thousands of dollars in salary just to understand data. And you can imagine coaches mostly are not data guys. So if we provide a tool that is easy to use, very graphic, very nice, they wouldn't love it.
I noticed you're not filing the patent until later this year. What would keep ESPN does an insane amount of statistical analysis to the point where it doesn't seem useful in some ways. But they have the capacity, they have the skill set, and the competence to do it and do it well. So what would keep them from doing it the way you're doing it?
So they keep it until now. So I don't think why they should do it. We know that many people are trying to do this. Nobody has kind of in that area accomplished something like this. The money's in the media. A lot of it's focused on the media. So in the Premier League, so they kind of they have a cow there, and to do this it takes effort. You have to go to coaches, talk to them, and get data, refine the model. So it's a lot of work. So,
and to follow up on that, it seems incredibly labor-intensive for you and your team. And having a subscription model is great on the revenue side, but it can be expensive in terms of labor. So, how are you thinking about that in terms of particularly your relationships in South America, but also the U.S.? How big a sales team are you going to need to hit the revenue targets that you want?
So we are so profitable with a small market. We start making profits, and it's intensive at first as any product in order to develop the right models and refine it. But once we sell it, the marginal cost it's zero. So once the scalability of this business is huge.
Yeah, and we would like to start with a small demo or a prototype by starting with universities, and we would like to start with our very own GW men's soccer and women's soccer team as well. So we get a heads up and we get a startup, so we know where we are going, and we can assess individual players as well. So we're trying to focus on small clubs and university teams, and then build our brand towards professional clubs.
You quickly showed the example from the soccer player in Barcelona, Zlatan, I think. And I'm wondering if you can walk through how your tool would have been a predictor of that, what caused that precipitous drop in the value of that player, and how your tool would have helped the team better manage that asset or prevent the drop in their asset.
So Zlatan, he's a great. If you watch him playing, he scored from the half of it's unbelievable. But sometimes they start losing performance. They get bigger. They don't run as fast. They lose motivation. The many factors that with our tool we measure. So we kind of keep track of all the measures that make us a good striker. And once we see that he drops in one of these measures, we say, no, you have to give it. So we correlate the market value with his performance. At that time, he was not scoring goals. He was not playing good in the team. So they had to let him go and go to a team where. So
And so you're saying the coach could have caught that earlier
Yeah,
and
yeah,
had him do
yes.
certain
I mean, the
Yes.
coach is always measuring Zlatan's performance off the field. That's what we will be doing. And when he feels, as I showed you in the graph of David Macy always keeps increasing. But if you find the speed of Zlatan decreasing, or his accuracy decreasing, or he's scoring goals that are, I mean, less amount of goals, I mean, then you could realize, oh, Zlatan is, the price of Zlatan is going down. We need to do something for him. So it could be predicted at an earlier stage as well.
You can look for more information in transfermark.com. There's every player is there, the market value. Nothing about projections or performance, but you can see how there's thousands of and they tell you how much the Premier League lost this year, how much they lost that year. It's amazing. There's millions of dollars.
Yeah. And one follow-up question. So does the information that the coaches input, does that automatically become public through this tool so that everyone can see the OPP value? Or is that private? Because I imagine that the coaches don't necessarily want to publicize to the world that people are going, people going up or down.
It's public. It's private because each club owns the player at certain point when it becomes public. But mostly we are going to build the database from young players who are using to make an assessment by themselves. All the agents could enter that big database and find new players. And so our product will grow in that. We need to populate that. As soon as we start populating our database, agents will have access. And it's another business.
So the data of a particular player is private, but the OPP index is public. It's sort of like a GMAT, because like if you hide your GMAT score, how will you get admission into any college? I mean, you can't hide your GMAT score, right? So same way, a player can't hide his OPP index. The OPP index is public, but his attributes are private to his own team members. I mean, the team coach and the management as well.
Guys, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.